And for this last part, we're going to be talking about how you survive extreme heat. Now, the hottest place on the Earth's surface is the Libyan desert, and it comes in at a staggering 58 degrees Celsius. Now, bear in mind that you keep your body temperatures around 37. If your temperature rises to 42, you die. Right? That's a fact. Could someone survive standing in the Libyan desert at 58? And in fact, if you look back there, the temperature's even hotter. Well, let's find out by introducing our gullible friend, Mac. Mac.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So, Mac, you're up for it then. This is 58 degrees, 42, you reach that, you're dead.
Okay.
37 is where you want to be, you're up for it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, if you are, what we'd like you to do first of all is to swallow that. Let me just show that to the camera there. And this is a rather heavy and unpleasant pill. And while Mac's doing that, I'll explain, this is a radiothermometer. So it's transmitting the temperature from inside his stomach to the outside world, and we can pick it up with a little receiver we put on Mac and feed it to our computer. So is that gone down?
It's gone.
Okay, so let's see what we're reading now. And if the camera comes in and looks at that, we can see it says it's at 37.3 degrees. Now this does bounce up and down a little bit, but that's not so bad. So, okay, Mac, you're up for it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in you go. 3, 2, 1, go. Right, in goes Mac. We'll shut the door. And just for the suspense, so we don't know if he's alive or dead. Right, if anyone hears some screams or a thud, you just let me know. You all right there, Mac? Yeah, he's looking a bit worried already. So how do we survive increasing heat? Well, of course, you'd think it might not be a bit of a problem. We are generating, though, quite a lot of heat. So let's suppose you are cycling the Tour de France, and you're generating this much heat at once. Suppose now it's a sunny day. Just standing in your garden on a sunny day in England can add another 175 watts of radiant heat coming to you. But none of that's a problem, because if the air's cooler than you are, you can lose that heat in the ways we've just talked about, through conduction, through convection of air movement, and through radiating the heat away. But what happens if the air is hotter than you are? Because if the air and everything you're sitting on is hotter than you are, then conduction and convection and radiation aren't taking heat away from you, they're delivering it to you. And that's what's happening to Mac in there. He can't lose heat in those ways. Now, unless we've got it very badly wrong, Mac will be alive at the end, and we can find out how, because there is one important cooling mechanism. So, let's borrow a hand. Yeah, go on then, we'll borrow your hand, right? I'll shake yours. What's your name?
Jim.
Right, let me just see the back of your hand. We want yours nice and steady for the camera, and you're all going to do the same thing here. First thing, if you just lean forward and blow, all of you do the same thing, blow on the back of your hands. Right, now that's all fairly straightforward. It feels cold because you're removing heat by convection. Right, now lick the back of your hand, blow again. That's feeling a lot colder. It's feeling colder because you're evaporating from your flesh. And evaporating water takes a lot of heat. It takes about 1 calorie for every 1.5 ml of water that you evaporate. Now, to stay cool on a hot day, you clearly can't go around licking yourself all over. I mean, not unless you want to get arrested, you can't. So you need some other way of doing it. And of course, what you do is you use sweat glands, because your sweat glands produce salty water which lies on you like a film and evaporates to keep you cool. Now, outside, we've got a thermal camera with a close-up lens looking at someone's finger. And if we just freeze it, thank you very much, what we can see here are these little black dots. And each one of those is a sweat gland. It's making some sweat. That's evaporating from the gland, making those little sweat glands colder. And you've got an awful lot of them. You've got somewhere in the region of 2.6 million on your body. That's about 120 for every square centimetre of skin. Now, to show you how effective they are, I'm going to need a volunteer who is prepared to take their shirt off or lift the shirt up at the back. There's some very exhibitionist people. There you are, you're on the corner, come on down. Okay. So, let's get your shirt back up.
Okay.
Right, and we're going to show your back to the world. Okay. There you are, there's your back. Do you want to take it off completely?
Okay.
Or should we just put it round? There you go. Right. There's the back, a good healthy back. Now, what we're going to do is turn around, and you're not going to like this bit, because what I'm going to do is to spray some spray to simulate some sweat, it's just cold, on your back. What I'm then going to do is mop off a little bit with a towel, so a little bit of it's dry, and I'm going to leave a secret message on his back. What we're then going to do is cool you down, put the fan on, let that sweat evaporate, and what ought to happen is that the bit that we've made wet gets colder, and it should show up the secret message on our thermal camera and the hot numbers. Got it?
Yep.
Okay, right. Here comes the cold. Sorry. Yow, it's not nice. Okay, there's the cold. Here's me doing the secret number. You can tell what that is, but no one else can, I hope. Right, let's turn you round, put the thermal camera on and switch the fans on. Right, let's see what we can see. What do we see? Thank you very much. 37, the temperature that he's trying to keep his body at. Thank you very much indeed. So just to remind you then, that sweating process is the only thing that's keeping Mac alive in there, because it's the only way in which he can lose heat. But there are limits. What we've done very carefully in there is to make sure the air is dry, because if the air was moist and humid, it wouldn't be able to absorb the sweat that he wanted to evaporate, and he'd just overheat and he'd die. And so exercising in humid hot conditions is very dangerous indeed. The other big problem is just keeping up with fluid loss. On a very hot day, when you start sweating, you can easily lose 1.5 or 2 litres an hour, but your gut can only absorb 1.5 litres an hour of drinking continuously. So that's very hard to keep up with the fluids if you're exercising on a very hot day. So humidity and dehydration are the two biggest enemies. Well, I suppose we'd better go back and find out whether Mac is still alive in there. Mac, are you still in there?
Yeah, just about.
Just about. And if we look over here, we can see despite the fact he's been cooking in there for 10 minutes at 58 or more degrees, his temperature has only risen very slightly. It's now only just over 37 degrees.
Oh.
Are you decent? You're not taking all your clothes off? No. All right, well, let's have a look and see. He's looking a right mess, this boy, today. Matt, come on out.
Thank you.
Right. So, oh my word, that is really unpleasant. Mac, I don't want to get too close. But the thing is, you can see, even if you compare my skin to his, my skin's relatively white, my blood vessels are a little shut down. All of his blood vessels are opened up to try to radiate heat away. But the main thing you can see is that Mac is very, very sweaty, and it's that that's kept him cool. Mac, you better go and get yourself a bit of a rest. Thank you very much indeed.